What is up, Squared Nation? Welcome back to No Counters, No Combos. I know I've been MIA for like the past week, maybe even week and a half, and I really do appreciate your guys' patience. But basically, we got a new house, and we've been moving everything in over the past week or so. So that's why I haven't been able to post any content. As you can see behind me, like this is a big empty like basement room, which I'm gonna convert into like a studio / gaming room. So that's all stuff down the road, and I'll keep you guys updated as much as I possibly can. But today I'm gonna be talking about the Zamasu deck that I'm gonna be playing this weekend at locals. I pulled up a poll last week for you guys, the community, to choose which leader for me to take a crack at, and I gotta say I was surprised at how many people actually voted. I think there was like 70 votes on YouTube, and I did get a few comments on Facebook. So definitely shout out to you guys for, I guess choosing what it is you kind of want to see. Now, I definitely do not recommend taking this deck profile to any tournament, even a local. But, I'm going to go ahead and give it a shot. Basically, I tried so many different ways of making this deck work. I tried playing like Zamasu deck. I tried playing like just good stuff, but I couldn't. It's just not a good leader. So for those of you who haven't played the game as long as I have, we have Zamasu, Fuse Zamasu on the front, and then we have the Awakened Monster Zamasu on the back. This is a set 2 leader, so he's super old. Basically on the front side, you can crit a life once per turn, and if it's a blue card, you can draw a card. You awaken at 2 or less life and draw 2 cards. And then his awakened side, auto, once per turn when you attack, draw a card. And then he has a permanent. If he was to ever take damage, instead of taking damage, you can mill the top 5 cards of your deck into your drop area. So those 5 cards that you mill is equal to a single strike. So double strike would be 10, triple strike would be 15, quad strike would be 20, so on and so forth. And it's just one of those decks that just doesn't really die. I mean, back in the day when set 2 format was out, Zamasu with Fushraded, shout out to Pat O'Neill. He like kind of made that deck like a thing. You kind of want to play the long game and drop big bombs, but you really can't survive that long in the way the meta is right now. So we're trying to cap out at like turn 5, turn 6, just to be able to try to win there. So I'm playing a 60 card deck just because I feel like your life isn't really important. It's more of like your card count in your deck. So the fatter the deck, the longer you're going to survive. And I'm not trying to play too many draw cards in the deck because you draw inherently so much with your leader front side and then your leader awaken when you attack. So the first card, obviously, you have to play 1 Fushraded in Mystery. It's basically a pseudo secret rare, and in Zamasu, you're gonna get the 6 energy, hopefully. And if you play this guy, you just win. This guy shuts down so many decks right now. There's so many skills. There's so many abilities that your opponent just has a really tough time interacting with a card like this. Obviously, I'm wearing a hood. Sorry, I'm wearing a hood because it's freezing in my basement. But back to the profile. We're playing 4 God-Sealing Techniques. We are playing a Unison in this deck. You just have to play this counterplay. It's really good for blue. 4 Senzu Bean. 1 Encouraging Presence Monaka. I wanted to play Champa, but Champa's not blue. So I didn't want to run the risk of whiffing and making my deck as consistent as possible. Yeah, Encouraging Presence, you have to activate during your main, so your opponent's going to see the double strike coming, but if it's late enough in the game where you're just trying to sneak for damage, it might be a decent card. And he does draw you a card. So I'm just playing 1 Encouraging Presence. I'm playing this. This is from Vermilion Bloodline. It's a card that nobody plays. At least nobody I've seen play. It's a 2-drop SS3 Kid Goku from GT. He's basically a counterplay. Or a counterattack rather, for 2 energy. You negate the attack, and then you can play him, and then you choose up to 1 of your unisons with a specified cost of 2 from your drop area or your battle area and return it to your hand and play this card. So basically, because Zamasu does mill a lot and put life from from life area to drop area, I wanted a way to get back certain cards if I needed them. So this is a way I can get back my unison and just kind of play play the game without losing my stuff. We're playing 4 Gotenks Reaper of Justice. This card's just really good in combination with Gogeta Pursuit of Power, which is the unison that we're going to be playing in this deck. He's an activate battle. If you control a unison, you can free play him in rest mode. He's a 19k beater, 3-drop. That's really all he does. He's unique, so you can only control one at a time. But he does have some nifty interactions with Gogeta Pursuit of Power, which we'll get to. If you guys have watched our Tech Talk videos and other profiles in the past, I'm sure you're aware of this interaction. We're playing 3 of the Great Saiyaman. This guy is just nuts. He's a 3-drop. Revenge, blocker, barrier, deflect. It's just he does way too much for 3 energy. Once per turn, or when you KO something with an auto, or his auto is when you KO something, you can restand him and untap one of your blue energy. So that works on either player's turn. If you're using him offensively and you kill like a weenie or something, you'll be able to restand and untap. And then if you're defensively, because he's a revenge blocker, if he is to resolve his revenge skill and kill something, he would be able to untap and he would be able to restand and untap an energy, getting you a secondary block. So it's just a really good card. Also works really well in combination with our unison. We're playing 4 Gotenks. This card is kind of nuts. He's also deflect, barrier, double strike, and if your opponent, his auto is if your opponent was to activate a counter in response to his attack, you can restand 2 of your energy. So it's just more extension, and he's just a good card. I mean, double strike, barrier. It kind of like for like blue good stuff decks, it kind of replaces, in my opinion anyway, it kind of replaces the Murichim and the Obuni. I mean, obviously Obuni, you're getting the tokens, but this guy kind of does it all. Like, he's immune to counterplays, whether it's Frieza, Trunks, whatever it is. So he's gonna stick for 4, and he's a beefy body, 20k double strike, that if your opponent negates his attack, you're gonna get more resource extension. It's just one of those cards that I think power crept Obuni and Murichim out of play. I know people still play those cards, but I think it's just my opinion as to why this card is a better option. We're playing 1 Pycon Secret Rare. He's blue. I was going to play Supreme Kai of Time, but she's not blue, so that's just really the only reason. You're really rarely going to play this guy. If you get him out for 4, he's not that bad. He's a dual attack, double striker, and every time he attacks, you look at your opponent's hand, and you rip a card out. They get to draw, but you get to get rid of a problem card. And then when he's played, he does get to bounce stuff back to the opponent's hand, not ignoring barrier. Playing 2 Mafuba. It's a counter-heavy deck. You don't really do anything proactively on your turn. You're just kind of charging and passing. Once you flip is when you start doing stuff. So having access to Mafuba in any blue deck is really good because it shuts down so many different cards. So Throwback Ss3 Dragonfist. This is an old card. It's a 6-drop, 25k barrier. So you have to tap 6 to play him. But when he comes into play, or when he attacks rather, you get to choose one of your opponent's battle cards, bounce it back to their hand, and untap 2 energy. So you play him for 6. If he sticks to the board, as soon as he swings, you untap 2. So essentially, he's a 4-drop, and in any blue deck with Bean and everything like that, you could definitely reduce his cost theoretically. But if he sticks on the board for more than 1 turn, he's going to get you a lot of value, because every time he swings is untap 2. He's not unique, so if you get 2 this guy on the board, you can untap 4 energy every turn and just play your threats from there. Not too bad. I'm only playing 2 of because he's a 1-cost 10k. And he, but it is what it is. This is one of your like boss monsters in the deck. I don't really see a specific win con outside of Fu Shrouded and then just like not dying as a win con, but that's basically just more gas for you at the top of the curve. 4-dimension magic, staple, blue negate. 1 all too easy. I wanted, like I said, to make this a 60 card deck. This was the 60th card. It just made sense because you're milling off of leader, you're milling off of life to draw. So it just, if you have it in the graveyard or if you have it in the drop area, you can just activate it. Intersecting Fates. I'm not really playing any 1-drops in this deck. There's not a lot of 1-drops that do anything that I need them to do. Intersecting Fates just lets me dig, have a turn 1 play without being tapped out for defense if I need it. So you're looking at, top 2 any card, basically. So this is going to scry and dig for other things. And then, like I said, at the end of the turn, you're going to get to untap that energy, so you're not going to be, helpless when it comes to, defense. I'm playing 4 Intimidator, or whatever, Awe-Inspiring Intimidator SS Blue Gogeta. This is an Ultimate Box card from, like, 5 years ago, it feels like. He's bad, but at the same time, he's not. He's essentially my 5-drop for the deck. He is a 4-cost, but if you play him while you have 5 energy, you get to draw a card. He's a 20k attacker, and then it says that when he's in rest mode, your opponent can only attack him, and he has barrier. So it's just one of those things that works really well with Gogeta, Unison of Power, Pursuit of Power, whatever his name is. And it's just another body that your opponent has to deal with. 20k in blue with Bean is nothing to scoff at, and it can get kind of pesky. He does have that pseudo-unique permanent, not really the keyword permanent, but, the permanent where it says you can only control, one of him at a time or whatnot. So it's like before unique was a thing, this is what happened, right? Like I said, it's just trying to jam a whole bunch of cards into a deck and make sense out of it. I'm playing 4 Preface of Recovery. This is one of my favorite cards ever printed. He's just a lot of value. He's a 15k 3-drop. When he comes to play, he untaps 2. So essentially, he's a 1-drop 15k with Barrier. Barrier is a really sticky keyword right now. There's not really much to deal with it. Inherently, some cards have, built-in barrier options, but for the most part, you're not going to see that, in thralls, throughout the meta. So having barrier as a keyword right now, I think is really good, especially if it just kind of derails your opponent from, it gives them the situation of, do they go for board or do they go for game? And then you do have that secondary effect from Zamasu where you're just not going to die, right? But I really like this card. I think he's really cool, and I think more blue decks should definitely give him a shot. We're playing Gogeta, Pursuit of Power, Unison. He's just pretty good. I mean, he's a 15k 2-drop Unison. Once per turn, you can select one of your battle cards or your leader cards and switch it to rest mode, and then he gains a marker. And then he has a -2 where you draw a card, and then you could choose one of your opponent's battle cards, ignoring barrier, with a cost higher than their current energy, and bottom deck it. So he does have built-in spot removal, which is really good, especially barrier. Getting around barrier is also really good. And his permanent, which is why we play him, is if you control a blue Saiyan in rest mode, your leader does not take damage from attacks. So on top of Zamasu's permanent, they're going to have to get through this guy, and that's why we play the cards that we play. That's why we play Vegetos, that's why we play Grey Saiyamans, that's why we play the Gotenks. So you can just come in and give your opponent something else to deal with besides your leader, because yes, even though you won't die, decking out is a possibility with this deck, and you don't want that to happen because you want to get to at least 6 energy in this deck so you can drop Fu and win the game outright that way. We're playing 4 Goku Hit. It just made sense because it's a blue deck. It's another blocker. It's a 19k. You can use them both offensively and defensively. Just a really good card. And then we're playing, of course, 4 Zamasu super combos. Obviously for the flavor, because we're playing a Zamasu deck, but Zamasu Sacred Disbelief is just probably the best, if not one of the best super combos. Definitely the best multicolor super combo in the game. And just being able to Zamasu, tap a blue for Goku Hit, and essentially maybe survive 2 or 3 attacks is just really, really good. But that's it. I mean, that's the deck in a nutshell. I'm going to be playing it this weekend at locals, so if you guys want free wins, definitely come by Gamer's Edge in Stroudsburg, 7 p.m. I will put all the information in the description box down below. Just come out for a good time. It's best of ones. And, you guys voted, so I'm definitely going to try to get some gameplay for you guys so you can see this deck in action, I guess. And we'll just have to go from there. Again, if those of you who voted for Zamasu were expecting some Zamasu tribal with like the set 10 stuff, I tried it. It just doesn't work the way you want it to, especially with this leader. Maybe with the set 10 Zamasu leader because you're getting that fake ramping or whatnot, but it's a nightmare. It just doesn't really work that well. And I wanted to, obviously I'm playing a bad deck to begin with, but I wanted to at least be able to play the game and not just, have cards in my hand and not do anything. So we're definitely going to do one of these polls again. I don't know when, maybe sometime soon, because I definitely like getting the input, and I definitely like playing all these different decks and strategies and stuff and just seeing what I can come up with and seeing if I can make it successful. But I might narrow it down to 2 or 3 instead of 5, just because I feel like there's way too many options. But we'll see what happens. Again, guys, thanks so much for the patience. Like I said, you can see behind me a very small section of this room here. This room is big, so I got a lot of work ahead of me, but we're going to be getting to a more consistent uploading schedule in the upcoming week. So stay tuned for that. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and please hit that notification bell so you can stay up to date with everything No Counters, No Combos. We really do appreciate the support here, and we'll see you in the next video. Be there or be squared.